And we have our equation down here. So they're first asking us to substitute the given value of x into the equation. We have our x right here, and we're going to substitute it in to our equation. So we have an x first. So the first variable we have is our x. So we want to put parentheses first. And there we're going to put in our 3. Then we are just going to copy down the rest. So we have that multiplied by y plus y equals y plus 12. And now they want us to solve for y. So the first term here we have is 3 times y. So that we can just write that as 3y. And then we have plus y equaling y plus 12. So on the left-hand side here, we have 3y plus y. What will that give us?
4y.
4y? Yes, good. We have that equaling y plus 12. And we want to combine our variable y. We want to get them all together. So if we have one y on the right-hand side here all alone, we want to combine it on the left-hand side. So we're going to subtract y from both sides so that we have all of our y's on the left. And we have 3y equals 12. And our last step, we'll divide by 3 on both sides to get our y alone. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. Questions on that one? All right, we're also going to look at number 8, which is right here next to our answer. So the directions for 8 say, solve the equation for y. So all we're doing is solving for y here. I'm going to rewrite it down a bit because it's next to our answer. So we have 3xy plus 2x equals negative 6. And we want to solve for y. Our y is right here. So let's get this other term, 2x, away from our y term. So let's subtract 2x on both sides. Now we're going to get 3xy equals negative 2x plus 6 because we cannot combine those terms. They are not like terms. So now we have this 3x with our y here. That's being multiplied to the y. What do you think we would do to get rid of this 3x that's with our y? So what's the opposite of multiplying?
Division.
Yep, division. So we're going to divide both sides by our 3. Don't know how that happened. Whoops. All right. 3x on both sides. And we're going to divide each term on the right-hand side by 3x also. 3x divided by 3x. So just like when we had just a number and we had several terms that we had to divide by, we're going to divide it by each term. So here on the left-hand side, that will leave us with just our y, which is what we wanted. Now we have negative 2x divided by 3x. That will leave us with negative 2 over 3 because these x's will cancel. Those will cancel. So we have negative 2/3 plus, and we have 6 over 3x. 6 divided by 3 is what?
2.
2, right. But our 6 is on top, so we're going to divide our top and bottom by 3. to get rid of this 3 down here in the bottom. We can reduce that by dividing it by 3. So if we divide the top by 2 or 3 and the bottom by 3, that will leave us with a 2 on top in our numerator and our x on the bottom. So that's a little tricky, the way we're reducing that. Does everyone understand that? We can't just bring our x to the numerator. Our x is, we're dividing by that. So it has to stay in the denominator. And our 6 divided by 3 gives us our 2, which is on top. Does that make sense? Anyone still confused on that? And that's our answer. Any questions on this one or any other problems you wanted me to go over from the homework? From the work?
Could you do number 9?
9, yeah. All right. So our directions are the same. We are still solving the equation for y. So our y is right here. So let's get this term on the other side. So let's subtract both sides by 3x. So then we have 2xy. We didn't do anything to that term. Our 3x's will cancel. And we have negative 3x plus 7. Was that your first step? Or was that Chase, I think, asked?
Yeah, that was my first step.
Or Josh? Okay. So what did you do next? Or is this where you're confused?
I don't know why, but I added x or 3x to each side.
Right, so since it's being added up here, we'll want to do the opposite by subtracting 3x on both sides to get rid of it. So just like the number 8 that I just did, we're going to divide both sides by 2x. And we're going to take every term divided by 2x so that our y can be alone on that left-hand side. And here, the same thing will happen. We'll have a negative 3 over 2 because our x's will cancel. And x divided by x is just 1. That'll just go away. And here, we can't simplify 7 over 2 at all. So that's going to stay the same. And we're going to keep that x in the denominator because we were dividing. We can't bring that on top. So a little tricky with divide. When you're dividing by a variable, it has to stay in the bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You good on that one now?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. You can always chat me your question as well if you want, if you don't want to unmute yourself. But if there's no more questions from the homework, then we are going to do a review on sections 1-3 to 1-5. So the past few sections we've been working on. This worksheet is in your note packet, actually. It is page 21 of your note packet. So it should be right after the notes that we finished yesterday. There's a blank page and then it'll bring us to the review worksheet. So we are going to split into breakout rooms and Mr. King will take a few of you, I'll take a few of you, 3 or 2 groups, 2. So yeah, me and Miss Kane will take a few of you and we are going to go over a few problems with you guys on this. And we'll also let you guys work on your own and have time for you guys to ask us questions because you do have a quiz on this tomorrow. So you want to make sure you're asking all of your questions today. but okay. So you will get a invitation that will pop up on your screen, like a notification to join the breakout room. Make sure you click that join breakout room. That will bring you to the breakout room. Yes? Okay. All right, so I am going to start a problem with you guys. Let's look at number 7. I'm gonna do number 7 with you guys. I'll start you off on it. So Josh, can you tell me what the first step we would take here? It says to simplify the expression.
So you would have to multiply -3 into 2x and 4.
Good, and what will that give us?
-6x plus negative or minus 12.
Good. And then keep going. What should we do for the rest of this? That's a -1 in front of that parentheses.
So then you would have to multiply the -1 into x and 5.
Good, and what will that give us?
-1x minus 5.
Good. And what are the like terms that we can combine here?
You can combine -6x and -1x.
Good, and what will that give us?
-7x.
And what about the other two terms we have left? Can we combine them?
Yeah, you can combine them.
And what will that give us?
-17.
Yeah, good. And that's your answer. Good job. Questions on that one? All right. I am going to then do 14. So we have fractions here. Our directions say to solve the equation. So we're solving. So we can see that we have x here. So we're going to solve for our x. We want to combine our x's. But if we have these fractions, what should we do to get rid of them? We're going to want to multiply by something. That's called the least common denominator, what we're multiplying by. So if we have a 3 and we have a 2 in our fraction on the bottom of our fractions, we want a number that both 3 and 2 can multiply into easily. So does anyone have a guess what that would be?
Would it be 6?
Yeah, good. So now we're going to go through and we're going to multiply each term by 6. So here, our first term, we have 6 multiplied by 1/3 x. So we have 6 times 1, which is 6. And now we're going to do 6 divided by 3, which is what?
2.
2, good. And we're going to bring our x, 2x. Next, we have 6 times 1. That will give us 6. Bring down our equal sign. Next, we have 6 multiplied by 1/2 x. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply over. 6 times 1 is 6. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we'll bring our x, 3x. And then what's 6 times -6 times 3? Or 6 times -3?
Negative 18.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, so now we're going to want to combine our like terms. So let's bring our variable to the left-hand side. If we want to bring our variable of x to the left, what should we do next?
You could subtract either by 3x to both sides or by 2x.
Nice. Yeah, you can bring it to either side. So just to be consistent, we're going to subtract the 3x over to the left so that our variable's on the left. So 2x minus 3x, Josh, will give us what?
Negative 1x.
Good. And then we have, then we'll bring down our plus 6, bring down our equal sign, our 3x's will cancel, and we'll be left with negative 18. Now we're going to bring our constant term of plus 6 here over to the right. So now we're going to subtract by 6 on both sides. Still bringing our negative x down. Negative 18 minus 6 will give us what?
Negative 24.
Good. Now, our x is not alone here. We have a negative in front of it. That negative, we have a negative 1 out front. So we want to make sure we're doing something with that negative. We want to get that out of there. So now we're going to divide each side by negative 1 to get rid of that negative sign. And that will leave us with our x. And a negative 24 divided by negative 1 will give us a positive 24. So negative and a negative will make a positive, and 24 divided by 1 is 24. Does that make sense? Questions on that one? So whenever you have a fraction, make sure you're multiplying by your least common denominator to get rid of them. And then you just combine your like terms. All right, so we're going to flip over to the back side of this worksheet. I am going to do number 19 with you guys. So it says substitute the given value of x into the equation, then solve the equation for y. So the first thing they ask us to do is to substitute the given value of x into the equation. So let's look at our problem. Here's our x. Here's our x. And here's our x in our equation. We're going to take that negative 1 and plug it right in. So we have 4. And then we have an x next to it, which is what we're substituting in, what we're plugging in. So we're going to put parentheses and put our negative 1 in there. Then we're just going to copy down the rest. Negative 2y equals 18. Nate, can you tell me what 4 times negative 1 is?
Negative 4.
Yeah. Nice. And then we're going to, again, copy down the rest. Negative 2y equals 18, because we can't do anything yet. We wanted to multiply to get rid of our parentheses there. And now, we want to solve the equation for y. That's the second set of directions they gave us. So here's our y, and we want to get that y alone. What's our first step we should take to get y alone?
Add 4 to both sides.
Good. That will get rid of our 4 on the left. We'll be left with a negative 2y, bringing down the equal sign, and 18 plus 4 is 22. And Nate, can you tell us our last step, what we'll do here to get our y alone?
Divide by both sides by negative 2.
Good. And Nate, what's 22 divided by negative 2?
Negative 11.
Good. And that's our answer. Questions on that one? All right, I'm gonna look at one more with you guys to start you off on. Let's look at 21, right below it. So it says, use the formula D equals RT for the distance traveled to solve for the missing variable. So they give us our formula right here. Let's just copy it down. D equals R times T. Here they're saying our D, our distance, is 458 miles. Here's our D in the equation. Next, they're giving us our rate, which is 65 miles per hour. And there's our R. And we don't know what our T is, so T is going to be what we're solving for. So we're going to plug our 458 in for D. So we have 458 equals our R, which they gave us to be 65, and our T, which we're solving for. So you can flip the equation, that way your variable is on the left-hand side. You don't have to. I'm going to, just to be consistent. So I'm going to write 65T equals 458. Just rewriting it the other way. And now to get T alone, Nakai, could you tell us what our last step would be here to get T alone?
Divide the 65 by 458.
Yeah. Nice. And what will that give us? If you have a calculator, and plug it in real quick.
Seven point oh.
Nice. Did it give us any other decimals after that?
4615.
Okay. So we'll just write 7.04, you said, right? And
Yep.
what would our label be on this? So we have our distance in miles, our rate, which is miles per hour. What would the label be for our time? How long it took us?
Just hours.
Yeah, good. And that's it. Has anyone traveled a distance of 458 miles? That seems pretty far. I could probably get you to Jersey, the Jersey Shore, my favorite place. All right, so is there any other problems you want me to start you guys on? They look a little confusing on the front or the back of this worksheet? I can do any problem you guys want me to. Or you could just go off and do it on your own. You could start working on your own, and whenever you have a question, you can just unmute and ask me. It's up to you. Whatever you want. This time is yours. The rest of this worksheet.
Is it in seconds, hours, years, months? Can you see what it is?
Hour.
Hours. Very good. Good. So what we're going to have you do is we'll work on this on your own because you want to make sure you can do it on your own. We're going to leave this breakout room. If you want to stay on and just pop in and ask questions, if you want to log off and then log back on to ask questions, we'll be here the whole time, okay? So however you want to do it, but you want to make sure that you work on these on your own. If you want us to check answers as you go, however you want to do it, but we're going to leave this breakout room and then we'll be available on the other one. Sound good, girls?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.